sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
I just choked down chocolate chip cookies and Grandpa's femur. Femur.
We make money now?
No, we had to pay
So
them.
this episode, it's just too slippery. I'm slicing everything.
Every time I swing my 5-iron, it goes up that guy's ass.
Welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's your host, Jim and Foo.
We're cooking with gas, motherfucker.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Sad Dads Club podcast.
I'm going to let you say that because you say it way better than I do. Because
The last couple times you tongue twist it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sad Dads podcast.
It's like, I think I've been drinking too much. You know what
It's
I mean?
okay.
Well, I mean,
quarantine life.
Not that
man.
there's anything wrong with that.
No, I just finished off the hard cider. So no,
That's true.
It would be hard for
you
me
actually-
to. I literally just finished a hard cider. So
you were actually drinking.
I was, and it's daytime, so it's still day drinking.
I mean, admittedly, I really couldn't be drinking if I drove over here because that would be really bad.
Right.
So.
Yeah, even bicycles. That's still a DUI.
Is it really?
I think so.
On a bike?
I thought it was.
If you're on a sidewalk?
I think you can't be in the street on any sort of.
Is the sidewalk?
Oh man! See, now I'm not. I'm not 100%.
Do we need to backtrack on that comment?
Yeah,
Oh.
probably to be safe. I thought you can still be.
We need a lawyer.
Damn it! Yeah,
We need someone.
we need a internet lawyer, someone that stayed at a Holiday Inn or whatever that
Holiday Inn
commercial
Express.
is.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I'm not a quarterback, but
But I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, and I can fumble just like anyone else.
yeah, I can run into Tackle's ass. What? Shit.
I can feel that guy's anus right before he gives me the ball.
I'm down, ready, set. Plugging this one up for fun.
Touchdown!
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Wow. Yeah. Fun times.
That is fun times. So I'm still kind of reveling a little bit off of last week's show. I thought that was a lot of fun.
I thought it was, so thank you to Dave when you get here, whenever you get
He's
here.
going to come back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's excited. He wants to come back.
And one of the things that surprised me the most
Yeah.
was how quickly he just roped in.
Right. That's Dave.
We've talked 90-something episodes deep at this point about how, I get socially anxious. I'm not good with people blindly.
Right.
I'm not good with people.
I didn't even consider that because I was like, well, we're having this dude you've never
Right.
met come and do the show, and I didn't even consider that because to me, you're not that guy. You're not the guy
Right.
that you always
Yeah.
say you are.
Well, and that was...
But you are the person that determines that, not me.
serious when
Yeah.
I was like, you're getting here early. That was my apprehension was already kicking in.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And I was like,
I realized that
okay,
now.
so everything was set up early, and then I was like, you're getting here early, and you said, I'm trying really hard,
Yeah.
or something like that.
I'm working
And I
on it.
went,
Motherfucker.
that's not the response I was hoping for, because I was... I didn't know.
Anxious.
I didn't know Dave.
Yeah, you were anxious.
Outside of his excitement at participating,
Yeah.
and your excitement of him participating.
Yeah.
Dave was not someone that I had met.
Dave was a big boss man at AJ
Yeah,
Video.
he
and-
was not someone that, while I knew a lot of stuff from my time at NAB with you,
Yeah.
Dave was not someone that I had met.
Well, not only that, he wasn't even CEO then.
Right. So this was someone that
Yeah.
I didn't know that was coming to the house,
Mm-hmm.
and you said, I'm working on it. And I was like,
yeah.
fuck me, is this really going to happen where the CEO of a company is going to show up in my driveway
Uh-huh.
and be like, where's Jim? And I
Uh-huh.
want to be like,
Luckily, it all worked out.
I have to pee.
It all worked out.
Yeah, it all worked out. He
You're
literally-
I could just see you be like, and the door goes down.
Oh, God, I can't seem to make the garage door work. Hey, I'm fucking 44 years old, but I was
Yeah.
still apprehensive
Yeah.
about that. And
Yeah.
it was awesome that he clicked right away.
Oh, he's that kind of person.
As a person with social anxiety, it was amazing to have someone literally just fit right in.
Well, I think part of that is he has a sales background. right? So
Right.
a guy with that kind of
Yes.
personality, he will do that, right?
Yes, but it didn't feel so to that vein of a person that carries himself in that way. It didn't feel fake. Like I would know right away if I was being salesman.
Yeah.
I did not get that, and I'm sure anyone who's socially anxious as like I am, or who has problems with public speaking or any of those types and gets nervous around having to do something blind in public, you can smell like when someone's shining you on, or you're just flat out sensitive to it. Like, is this person like just giving me the business and running me over because they can sense that I'm uncomfortable with the situation? Dave carried himself as someone that was bombastic and funny, and it was genuine.
Yes.
As someone that's always apprehensive of those situations, it was
he put you at ease.
Yes, it was fun. I had a fucking blast. And the second thing that was amazing too was some of the questions that he had asked, or things that he pointed out that you and I, while on the same wavelength on a number of things, we probably don't hit as many of those. Wow, I
never thought of that.
Put that in that perspective. He, it's the same thing when Mike's here.
Yeah,
like Mike will toss these things out, just because his perspective is different from ours in his work life. Dave had a number of those, and I was like, "Fuck."
Well, it's not like we're the same brain or anything, but we're very. I think we're a lot of compatibleness or something.
Right.
There's
we hit our wavelengths match on a number of things. Socially, politically, and just extracurricularly. Yeah. I don't think that's a word, but fucking hashtag patent pending.
TM.
Yeah, TM, all rights reserved, copyright.
That's right.
It's like,
the Lord Fu.
Yeah. So
it's funny.
Yeah, I look forward to him having another opportunity to jump in the show at some point down the road.
It's funny because I think probably just because I know Dave, and not that I know him all that well, but I know him well enough that I was like totally not apprehensive at all whatsoever coming into this.
And I'm sure, that's a different awkwardness for you, because while we joked and we made light that, you can fire you at any time.
Sure.
He probably could certainly make something happen.
Yeah.
And the moment he sat down and we started shooting the shit, it was exactly as you described to him. It was that we were having a digital campfire.
Yep.
And that's what it was. He sat down as a peer, as a gentleman equal, and we shot the shit accordingly.
He's just a dude that has a title.
Yeah,
that's it.
It was really fun.
His job function is just different from ours.
Yes.
It happens to be eventually at some point my boss.
Yeah. The pay grade would be nice if it was, but,
Are you taking a pay cut, Dave?
Yeah.
Because I could use some extra dough.
Yeah, I'm looking for a bonus. Also, I like your shirt.
Yeah.
You want to come back on the show?
Why don't you just give me that shirt? No, so I had a good time. I'm glad he came, and so we'll have him on again for sure. We're talking about stuff already.
Yeah.
So, and then also, hopefully, possibly, we might get some video upgrade.
Oh, yes, yeah.
We might be able to do that too. So
we ran into two from a critique perspective. So Venus did notice. So if you listened or you watched the podcast on YouTube, you noticed that we struggled with. And this goes also to touch on the socially anxious thing. Yeah. And you and I talked about this after the show when we were putting the show together. So from a guts and gore of podcasting, it's hard sometimes when you're in mid conversation, and you're talking with someone that doesn't know how microphones work, or just generally is just a bombastic and very movie. Yeah. I'm not quite sure how to describe that.
Yeah.
Dodging the mic while you're trying to have a conversation, and then reminding the person,
Stay in front of the mic.
You've got 6 to 12 inches to work with.
Yeah.
And when you get outside of that, it starts to get,
Well,
if you were to like start like reprimanding or pointing things
Yeah.
out, then you end up in like a conversation thing where you almost feel like you're
now you're interrupting.
squashing. Yeah, you're squashing momentum,
Yes.
conversational momentum.
I thought about that a lot.
And that's something you and I need to work on.
Yep.
It
More educational
in
before
prepping the guest.
Yeah.
As well as not being afraid to, hey, and so don't take offense, but if we get, 5, 10, 20 minutes into the show, and we say something about your mic awareness, we're not trying to slam your point, but we get one take.
Yeah.
And when you sound good, the show sounds even better.
Well, we have 90 shows under our belt. Now 91.
Yeah.
And so we're more accustomed to being in front of a microphone. It's almost like I know where I need to put my face to get the quality or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he may not be used to that. He
right.
Obviously
and
he's not.
Absolutely. And, like I said to Venus, I said, Mike has done the same thing. And in funny, haha, humorous fashion, we've also busted Mike's balls in a couple of times about doing it. And Mike's, hashtag I love you, zombie. Mike still does it.
Yeah.
He's still like, he'll start to sit back in the chair.
Yeah.
And like, as you start rattling off and thinking about like really great stories, sometimes you start to fade away from the mic.
Well, I find for me personally, like, I have to kind of stay in front of the mic. Like once I'm here, I have to try and stay into that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like, I know where if I get just far enough away,
right,
I can start to hear it in the headphones that I'm losing it. And one of the things that we kind of pride ourselves on at the show is the quality of our audio.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have a situation that you can't
and
control.
it's not all the guest either.
Yeah.
Like we're still learning.
Yeah.
There are probably tons of tricks and knickknacks that we can do with compression and whatnot that we don't fiddle with.
Yeah.
Because sad dad. Time is a commodity, and that's a hard one.
Absolutely.
So and we had on ours, like we did have a camera on Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on us, not on Dave. That we, for whatever reason, the battery on Data's pocket, like it chewed through it.
Yep.
And we only had 27 minutes of Dave.
Yeah.
So that has nothing to do with him. That's us. So we make mistakes too.
Yeah.
Still learning.
Yeah.
91 episodes at this point.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. We've had shows that we've completely lost and had to re-record the next day.
Yeah.
And then we've had shows where we didn't have our mixer plugged in properly or something.
The cameras aren't jacked in.
And then luckily the way we have our audio backup set up, we run audio backups into the cameras, and we were able to recover the show, which is what the backup is for, and that was kind of amazing. We were able to do that. So, we learn here, and every once in a while we hit a snafu and was like, oh shit, what happened here? Even for all of the checking that we do prior to the show, and we do checking, sometimes things just don't work.
Yeah. So if you're a new podcast or you're a small podcast like us, it's okay if mistakes happen, because we make them too.
Yeah. It's all good.
There's tons of stuff to learn still.
Yeah. So you have a good weekend?
We did.
Yeah.
We had so Friday was a normal day. Saturday we had
Is Friday normal, really? It's Friday.
When I don't work Saturday, it's a normal.
Oh, okay.
Saturday we had because over the weekend we celebrated Venus's grandpa Ed's 90th birthday, which was Sunday. So we had her side of the family coming up to celebrate that on Sunday. So we had her brother and sister-in-law and my niece here, and they stayed in the RV.
Oh, cool.
not that we had, we knew that they were minding P's and Q's as far as COVID was concerned.
Yeah.
It was funny we made jokes, but you knew there was some semi-seriousness behind. When they got in the car, I was rebuilding setting some rocks for the fountain out here in the front.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you want us to wear masks? And we kind of like, ha, but you could see like the weird twinkle in the eye, like, we'll get the fucking masks if you want us to.
Yeah. How old?
Niece?
Yeah.
19.
Oh, okay.
And Keith, they're old.
I mean, at least
they're
they
both older.
care.
You're right.
They're
Absolutely.
considerate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We knew, and they knew, they pre-checked with Venus, where do you want us to, is it okay if we stay? We've been staying at home as well.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Yeah.
Everyone's okay.
Yeah.
I think in those situations where you have family, certainly close family, that has all been abiding by the general guidelines,
Yep.
and no one comes up sick or no one's visiting that's sick, and you're still minding your P's and Q's, you're within the bounds and realm of being smart about the situation as a whole.
Right.
So that it was fine. They normally they'll stay in Xander's bed, and Xander will double bunk with Piper or something, and Remy will sleep in the upper bunk with Piper, and Keith and Kristen will take Xander's room. But we're fine. We'll stay in the RV. The RV is fine. It was a mild, I think, 80s.
Okay.
So the RV with the windows open stayed cool.
Nice.
They stayed in there. Everyone was fine.
Yeah.
The situation was fine.
Yeah.
Everyone is still healthy. It's okay. We'll
happy.
all survive. And then we had a limited engagement with a mostly close-knit family on her side, Venus' side, up at Lake of the Pines at her grandpa's house.
Yeah.
Her dad came, and then Keith's side, 8 to 10, like still within, probably subconsciously at any given point in time, everything was still under what anyone would consider like, oh, we're getting out of
Right.
getting
Now
out.
it's out of control.
This is getting
the
serious.
neighbors are gonna call.
Right. It's just a really good day. The temperatures were really nice. It's always enjoyable for me, who's socially anxious, to sit down and listen to like stories from her grandpa, like tell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that there's, especially with the stuff that's going on as far as Black Lives Matter and the protests and the COVID stuff, there's a generational gap in acceptance of things.
Yeah.
But he's healthy. The dad generation above me was all healthy, and everyone was still, cognizant of being safe, and no one was sick. No one showed up sick or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you could tell that there was the younger folk at my tier and under were probably like eyeballing stuff and kind of holding back some like, what are you doing? Wearing masks? Fuck, that's stupid. It's like, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as far as like the mask stuff, when I read articles about stuff like they reopened Florida, and like this woman who was a nurse, which shocks the shit out of me, who went out on the town with a bunch of her friends, and like a bunch of them ended up getting COVID. And it's like, why? You're a nurse.
Yeah.
Why would you ever? And, basically came down to, we should have been more careful. It's like, yeah, you probably should have.
Yeah. And to the masks, too. So I have stats, but I don't feel like reading them I'm going to read them. So, as of today, day 108.
You did a full 360.
I did, because I was like, why talk? But now I'm going to say it because I think it's important. So, as far as since it started, the United States, 119,786 confirmed deaths. 2,226,527 cases. The fatality rate at being 5.4%. Now, those numbers, probably in the context of the entire national population, drop in the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was printing this out, and the importance to me, relative to the nurse story, was, and Dave's conversation, I can't remember if we were on air when we were talking about it. I think it might have been after the show when we were talking about my dad specifically, and him wearing a mask and how serious he was taking it, because he's like, I don't want to get that shit. I'm at risk in 2 or 3 different departments. And I had been thinking about it, and something that I had said after the show, I think it was, I'm not done needing information and input and conversation with my dad, who's at risk. So it benefits me to wear a fucking mask, because I have someone who's at risk that I'm not ready to have them gone yet.
Right.
So if everyone could just do something as simple, because I would hope that everyone has at least that one person that they're not ready to let go. So if you have enough empathy and compassion for that one person in your life, is it really that hard to wear a mask? Because there's probably at least another person, and if you're listening, you know me, so there's at least me, to wear a mask,
right,
to hopefully save that one person from exposure, or you giving it to the one person you care about. It's just a mask.
Well, part of the reason why I wear one is because there's so many people that don't. I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah. Well,
but the other the bigger part of it is the fact that, my wife is hugely asthmatic, and so she's really high risk.
Yeah.
And then even my kids are asthmatic. They're not as bad as my wife, but they're in there. But I mean, I wear a mask because a lot of people just refuse to or don't. And I would be devastated if I was very nonchalant and decided I wasn't going to go wear a mask, and then to bring it home and, God forbid, have my wife pick it up and get killed.
The amount of arguments about someone's liberties being impacted over something so small.
Your freedom is not being determined whether or not you wear a mask.
Right. To have some sort of high cerebral high school debate over wearing a mask and its infringement on your right as a, free-thinking, independent American. Come on.
My daughter showed me a video of...
It's just a mask.
Yeah, my daughter showed me this video of people going to... they were in Orange County, and I don't know if it was in a city or if it was part of the county's board of supervisor meeting or something like that, where people were just railing on
It was Orange County?
Yeah.
Yes.
People were just railing on them over being asked to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I mean, people just freaking out. And
yeah,
some
and
of the
you get
most
so
ridiculous...
hyperbolic about it, what if I've got asthma? Okay. I can understand that's a scenario, but I guarantee you, for that problem, there is probably a group that will be more than happy to recognize that you're at risk and go do whatever it is you need done on your behalf so that you don't have to wear the mask.
Well, the reasons they were giving, they were up there just railing on the board, and the reasons they were giving were just asinine.
Oh, yeah.
Just completely... off
why
kilter.
Why are we here?
Yeah. Are you really making this argument for real?
Yeah.
If you watched yourself, I think you would be sad by what you heard yourself say.
Yeah. Yes. So seeing the stats.
Yeah.
And then recalling the conversation that we had with Dave.
Yeah.
And some of his really good questions about, where'd you get your dad stuff from?
Right.
Putting together the show and then obviously re-listening, fuck, that was a deep-ass question.
Yeah.
And I felt my answer was from the feels, I'm like, wow, goddamn, I miss and love my dad.
Yeah.
Not that that was ever in question.
That was very apparent.
But it was.
I learned that he was super important to you.
But it was, and then I see these people making these arguments. It's like, how can you not have someone that you
want to protect?
That you want to protect.
Yeah, or that you don't. Do you not want to protect people?
Yeah, or that you're so callous and so self-serving that you can't be bothered to adorn something that maybe at best is mitigating only 70% of the potential.
Yeah.
But why? Come on. No one's, and if you got someone that's going to judge you by dog. If you've got someone that's going to judge you by you wearing PPE or something like that, that person is not your fucking friend, and that's not someone that you should be caring or concerned about their opinion of you anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if they're giving you shit, they don't care about you. They're just
like
being lame.
Yeah.
Because
I have to wear a mask because I like Foo's dad too.
You're wearing a mask because you're trying to protect other people. And to me, that's a caring person.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
What that says about you is that means that you give a shit about other people in your community and your family.
Yeah.
And if you decide you don't want to wear a mask, that means you're just selfish and you don't care.
Yeah. That was a lot of stuff too, because we'd just found out like in the last 7 days or so that #HiDragon, I hope everything goes okay. Dragon has like a tumor.
Yeah.
And there were, this 2020 in general just seems to like be taking turns trying to kick me in the balls.
Absolutely.
And everyone needing something at some point. It's like I got so many priorities, and then I turn to the news or something, and I see people wanting to pick these fights over the most asinine and ridiculous of things. It's like, I got a friend who has to go get surgery after finding out a thing with less than 2 weeks' notice, and it's in her brain, and it's crushing her eyesight. And you're worried about whether or not you look more or less like a man because you have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Like,
because it makes you look like you give a shit? Is that the problem?
It's okay. It's okay to give a shit. Wear the mask.
Or is
return the cart?
Are you more or less of a man?
Yeah, and then I was at SPD or Rayleigh's.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking taking pictures of carts that aren't getting returned.
And
we pulled into the parking spot.
Yeah.
And then it was like a thing. I can't get past the thing. And Venus is like, well, you've already said something about the carts. I'm like, I'm returning all these carts. I look like I might as well have been an employee.
Why do you need to, what you got to have to, if you're going to be that guy for sure, if I find out you buy one of those automated cart return systems that you just pull out of your trunk and then you start stacking them on
around
there,
the parking lot.
Pull it in and be like, here's your carts back.
Sir, you need a vest. And
they're all, can we have our thing back? No, that's mine. It goes in my trunk. I bought it.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah.
I have that tool.
Yeah.
That's mine.
They're like, oh shit, we don't even have one of those. Usually Bob does it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not union and I'm not Bob.
And you're not even paying me.
Yeah, so fucking it's free. Just fuck off.
Now wipe down my cart.
Yeah. You got that extra sanitizer? Yeah.
I mean,
it's such a simple thing.
Well, that and like the whole, like there's just the whole like people, the Black Lives Matter stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, are you really less of a person because you can care about everybody? You know what I mean? Like, why I'm at a loss.
Why are we fighting about this?
They're
being discriminated against.
Yeah.
We need to
They're fucking human beings like you are.
Yeah.
What? I fail to understand. Like, I think I brought this up in the Hangout. Like, our whole country is based on liberty and justice for all, unless you're, I mean, if you're white, you're fine, but
Yeah.
and what the fuck?
And
that
it's
is not the
It's
way
not.
it is, and
It's
it's
not.
fucking like the promise of America is fucking broken when you
Yes.
start looking at that shit.
We've got a long way to go.
Yeah,
As far as like dad stuff,
yeah,
I've sat both of my kids. I mean, the podcast dad hat on.
yeah,
It's like I've had these conversations with the kids.
yeah.
This is not a conversation my dad had with me.
No,
Don't feel sorry for me in any about having to have this conversation. But it needs to. I am the change, right?
yeah,
If you haven't had this kind of conversation with your kids and you're a parent, you're part of the problem.
mm-hmm.
And that's how I look at it. Now, the conversation I had with Xander was different in grades than the conversation I had with Piper. Well, I'll be perfectly honest. The conversation that Venus and I had with Piper about Black Lives Matter and the post that I've made and the post that I wrote for all contributed to for the podcast itself
Right.
was pretty much the same conversation. It was an adult conversation. And to that regard, the statement that we wrote for the podcast itself,
Mm-hmm.
we roped in your daughter.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, as you and I were making that together, you kept me honest, like, oh, we got to put this out. And I'm like, oh, let me work up something too.
Yeah.
And having you mentioned to me that your daughter had put some time into, like, no,
Yeah.
I've been missing some stuff. And she, you said that she had just put some time into it.
Yeah.
So it was like,
She's a researcher.
yeah, that was a perfect opportunity as a dad, the conversation I had with my daughter and Venus. But when we were putting something out for the show itself, I'm like, let's get her input. Let's get Millie's input.
Yeah. Yeah. She was actually pleasantly surprised or happy to be
A contributor.
yes.
Yeah. I think it's good as dads.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
It's a generational thing.
It is.
Right? Like we're not perfect for sure, and I feel like as a generation, the next generation that we're putting out there is definitely better off than us as far as knowledge and all that stuff.
social acceptance and
Yeah. So they have a leg up, and so it's like I feel like we can learn. Like I've definitely learned stuff from her. And,
absolutely.
I mean, it is try and be better.
But
That's kinda-
and like the amount of, I won't even say it was awkward. It
Yeah.
wasn't awkward
No.
because that would be doing it, a disservice to, the actual difficulty it is in being black in this country.
Right.
But it was weird that I would have to, in 2020, have a level set conversation that, this is still happening
Yeah.
to the black community at all.
It's shameful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we have to work harder to bring everybody to the same table. And if you're not contributing to that, you're part of the problem.
It's just weird to me that there's so. I don't understand if it's fear. It must be fear or whatever. But there's just some people that don't. Like the whole. I don't know what it is. I don't understand the logic, the thinking behind some of the people's prejudices and stuff. I just don't get that.
Yeah.
I fail to understand it really.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words when we talk about something like that. It's just like I just don't understand. Like,
yeah, my brain's
What's
not
the-
wired that way.
Yeah.
It's like I see some of the stuff we were talking earlier, some of the footage of some of the protests where you've got counter protests going on. And it's like, where are you? Why?
Yeah.
Why would you be doing that?
Yeah.
Like, what is your net gain
yeah,
in picking that fight?
yeah,
That makes no sense to me. Like, constructively, we could just be moving forward and, bringing everyone to the same tier.
Yeah,
let's do that.
That's what I mean.
And solve real problems.
I don't understand the thought process there. I just
yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Anyway.
You had a birthday.
Yeah, I did. I did. Monday was my birthday.
It wasn't 90?
My age?
Yeah, you're not 80. Her grandpa was 90.
Oh, God, no. Not yet.
No.
Next year.
Did you have cake or pie?
I had a Baskin-Robbins turtle pie.
So it's like a frozen ice cream thing?
Yeah, it's like a cookie crust, like a dark chocolate cookie crust.
Yeah.
With pralines and cream ice cream.
Oh.
And then caramel on top.
You know what we ran into?
Very good.
We had with Venus's grandpa, Bundt Cakes makes... It's essentially a cupcake.
Are you talking about Nothing Bundt Cake, that place?
Yeah.
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 I think that's the whole name.
The one over there.
I love those. I could
by the
fucking
Galleria.
put those in a syringe and just shoot that shit straight in the mouth. I love those.
Uh-huh.
They make it's a mini Bundt
Yes.
cupcake.
Yep.
It's a fucking cupcake.
It's a Bundt cake.
And they do them in assortments. God, I could just...
Yeah. And they got tons of different flavors.
They do. They had a pralines
delicious.
and something, and fuck, that was awesome too. Anyway.
Yeah, I kind of went just with the, like I said, the 31 flavors turtle pie. If you haven't not had one of those?
I don't really like cold cake, and I don't.
Well, it's not cake. It's a pie. It's a frozen ice cream pie.
I don't like to bite ice
Wait,
cream.
What?
Like biting ice cream.
Well, I mean, you don't
just lick it.
It's ice cream.
Hashtag
so you're
Highwell.
eating it like ice cream. It just has lots of other delicious shit with it. Think about it like that. It's in a pie shape.
Yeah.
But it's not really a pie.
Right.
It's literally ice cream in like a cookie crust. How can you go wrong?
Right, but you're eating it with a fork?
No, you eat it with a spoon. It's fucking ice cream. What are you, a masochist?
I don't know. Well, if it's in the shape of a pie, I eat pie with a fork.
Well, you slice slices like it would be a pie, and you put them on the plate.
And then you eat it with a spoon.
Sure. Now here's where we're breaking down a little bit. Because the utensil choice is a problem for you, whether it's a fork or a spoon.
Right, because if it's cold enough to eat it with a fork, you would be biting it.
It's usually soft. It's ice cream. So by the time you get it out of the freezer and light candles off and shit.
It's like melty.
Yeah, it gets a little melty like ice cream.
Well,
it's delicious. It's one of my pralines and cream. Have you had pralines and cream?
Yeah.
Look, and it's a pie made with pralines and cream ice cream, and then a load.
It's just a flat bowl. Then it's not really a pie.
Well, I mean, it looks like a pie.
Okay.
I mean, it's in a pie tin.
Simulated pie ice cream.
I mean, yeah, it's a ice cream pie. They do have now. Baskin-Robbins does have ice cream cakes where it's like a layer of cake.
I see those ones I can't do,
and they're rolled up, and then
because
you've got cake and ice cream, and it's like the frozen. I don't really care much for the frozen cake part.
I don't like that either.
But the turtle pie is just fucking ice cream, man. But it's got like caramel on it and the cookie crust.
I would be happy with that. But that's like the cakes that have like the too much jelly or goop in between layers of cake.
Oh, you don't like the filling?
I don't like too much filling. I would prefer just like a thin layer of buttercream something.
Does it depend on
cake.
what the flavor of the gelatin jelly flavor?
Not all the times. I mean, I don't really like a lot. And that's where even Bundt Cakes, the Nothing But Bundt Cakes will lose me. Like sometimes the piping is just
too rich,
too much frosting. And so I'll find myself like having to like
negotiate.
Dodge, get a little bit more cake for that. Like, no one wants a mouthful of fucking. Well, I mean, maybe
some people do.
Hey,
I mean,
I like to keep my ratios
correct.
Right,
yeah,
and so a good cake that gets overrun by having like a mopping of jelly whatever for frosting, just like you lost
now
me.
Speaking of that, there used to be in Auburn a place called Hildas.
Rings a bell, but I couldn't tell you the last time I had anything from there, and it'd be.
It was years ago, and they're closed now. I don't
Yeah.
think they're around anymore. But they used to make. You remember the Newcastle Cheese Shop?
Yes.
They used to make their Dutch Crunch bread, and probably all their other bread too.
Okay.
But we did cakes from that place, from Hildas.
Okay.
I wish they were still around. They were. Chandler on his first birthday got Hilda's cake. It was I drove up there. I'm going to fucking Auburn to get his cake, man.
Right.
That's how delicious that shit was. And why aren't they still there? I don't know.
It
Anyway.
sounds like something I remember Jen, Colfax Jen, talking about a lot. Like, oh, we're getting Hilda's.
Oh yeah, Hilda's was the bomb.
Yeah.
They were really good.
I don't remember.
You know, probably not quite as good as is that Karen's Bakery in Folsom?
Oh yeah, the one we had at Will's.
Yeah.
Funwheel.
I got one of those cakes for Shanna, the orange chocolate one.
Yeah.
The fucking thing is delicious.
It was a good cake.
Yeah. You're not a cake person?
I'm not a cold cake person. I like my cake to be
room temperature.
Room temperature.
Yeah.
Like if it's cold, to me it doesn't like land is right on the tongue. It's like a moisted.
Yeah, the cake gets a little on the dense side.
Yeah.
When it's refrigerated.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like.
I think I get that.
Cold dense cake.
I think it depends. If it's a fucking ice cream cake where it's frozen, like one of the rolled up ones at 31 flavors, no, I don't care for those. I'll take the turtle pie any day.
Yeah.
But if it was a Karen's Bakery cake that had to be refrigerated, I'd eat that shit all the time.
Do they have to be refrigerated, or is it just your preference that you refrigerate them?
No, I think there's something in the cake that I forget what it was. Something.
Was it a prison?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was one of those prison cakes.
Yeah, it's a keistered prison cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it warms up, so that's why you refrigerate it, because it gets keistered.
Because 98.6.
And then by the time you get it back out, it's right.
Ta-da!
And then that's just the way you like it.
Yeah, it's nice and warm.
It's almost toasty.
It's a keister cake.
But no, I mean, I dig that shit. But yeah, I had a birthday, and that was bullshit. Birthdays in general are bullshit.
Well, the good news.
Yeah.
Father's Day is coming up.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't know. I don't like to be the focus of attention. Like, whatever.
I made a joke with my brother because my sister had said something about, like, what are we getting Dad for Father's Day?
Yeah.
And normally it's not a thing. We don't usually, we'll all call, but we don't necessarily all get my dad something. But my sister pointed out a towable tractor bucket.
Okay.
We'll put soil in or something. And
a towable tractor bucket?
Yeah, almost like a wheelbarrow, but towable behind his...
For a tractor?
For his lawn tractor.
I gotcha, okay.
And my brother had pointed out that, like, he could really, like, probably get more mileage out of tools.
Yeah.
And then it was, like, a day later or so, my dad had come down to borrow the truck to pick up the tractor that he had purchased. I think that we had mentioned.
What did you get?
A Club Cadet, but a really huge, wide mowing deck. Anyway.
Okay.
I was doing the hangers in here. Like he had missed you by probably a couple hours, but I was doing the hangers in here, and I had my impact. And he was like, all he wanted to do was pick my brain about the impact, the DeWalt impact.
Okay.
And I love my dad, but he docked me at least an hour and a half on wanting to talk at me and yap at me about my DeWalt impact driver.
Oh.
So, fast forward to my...
So it took longer than you expected.
Oh, fucking... Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, fast forward to like a day plus later, my brother had sent down... I was just up at Dad's, and all he would talk about was the conversation that he had with you about Jay, this, that, and the other thing about Jay's fucking impact driver.
Oh,
blah,
that's
blah, blah,
hilarious.
blah. He's like, so we're getting him an impact driver.
Why don't you just give him yours?
Because it's got my name on it,
Oh.
and I don't know if he gets the whole foo thing.
Oh, He's like,
I don't even know who Fu is.
what's the Fu brand?
I don't even know any karate. Like, what is this? And I think you spelt it wrong. You should Google
The
it.
Kung Fu. What's the...
what is? I don't know anything about that stuff. I don't. I played football, son.
That's pretty funny.
Okay, Dad.
Well, I mean, I'll give you, tools make all the difference. Okay, so we were putting in the paver patio.
Yes.
Chandler had he's been on a tear buying tools. So he bought this big giant compressor, and he wanted to use air tools to cut the bricks to fit up against the edge.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And that did not work out well. And the other problem is that those masonry
bit
saws,
okay,
just don't last very long. So it's like 1 or 2 bricks, and you got to replace that thing. And I'm like,
okay,
they just wear out super fast.
Huh.
And so I had borrowed your tile saw.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was done in like nothing flat. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
he was out there grinding away for days. Like, and I keep trying to tell him, like, sometimes you just have to have the right tool. Like,
right. Oh, yeah.
It's cool that you have all these tools, but for what we're trying to do in particular, it's not really the right thing.
Right.
Another thing, so we were putting in the paver patio and a fire pit.
Right.
And the fire pit requires a pan, like sheet metal pan.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I just bought a big sheet of sheet metal.
Okay.
And cut it in the round, and then like had to cut a hole in it. And then cut it too big originally for what we needed it for, so it had to be trimmed out. So we had circled out like about 2 inches that needed to be trimmed off.
Okay.
And Chandler wanted to cut it. Of course, what does he want to use? His new compressor and
some sort of air tool.
Saw, like a grinder or something with a blade on it.
Okay.
Fucking knock yourself out, right?
Right.
Well, when I originally did it, I just had some tin snips.
Yeah.
Snip, 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 snip. It took me like 6 minutes or whatever to get all the way around it,
okay.
Right? And so I'm like, hey, man, that's taken a long time. And he had been working on it for probably 45 minutes, and he had only cut out like probably about an 8-inch section of this big thing. And I'm like, if you had the tin snips, you would have been done by now. You could have moved on to something else.
Right.
And he's like, oh, okay. And so I walk in the garage, I grab the tin snips, and I walk out there, and I just start going snip, snip, snip. And he sees how quick it is.
Right.
All right, give me the tin. And he was done in just a couple of minutes. And I'm just like, sometimes, I just keep telling him, sometimes it's not about having the biggest, baddest ass tool. It's about having the right tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that was interesting, and I don't think he's learned that. It's weird.
I agree. I mean, the amount of, especially when I look at, and I will put this out there. I'm a perfect example of, I got this thing. Like, there are a number of tools up on my shelf where it's like,
I bought this,
but it's way overkill. Yeah. Especially when, I spend a short week helping Mike do stuff, and he's got everything that he needs on his belt.
Right.
Or it's all using a battery that's all sharing the same tool ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm looking at my shelf, and I'm like, I've got an orbital sander that needs a cord, and a jigsaw that needs a cord.
Yep.
And I have what did he call it? A wrist breaker power drill that uses a cord that has so few uses in my house. There's no reason for me to own it.
It's like way too big.
But I think I had purchased it because
it was the baddest.
Years back, I think it was when I was doing the rear deck, which has gotten shorter and shorter. #HiGrant, #HiJohn, because they helped me build it. I mean, a large amount of square footage.
Yeah.
And at the time, batteries for cordless shit were so terrible that I would get maybe 3-4 boards of a 10-foot redwood plank, and I would be out of a battery.
Yeah.
So I bought this corded fucking juggernaut so that I could do the entire deck and not have to worry about batteries.
Right.
Now, I wish batteries were slightly more affordable.
Yeah.
But I could probably do the deck with maybe a 2 or 3 battery rotation and always having something on a charger, and I would have no downtime.
Yeah.
So this tool was something that I bought in my youth, probably pre-kids.
Yeah.
That was exactly in Data's wheelhouse, and that is, what's the biggest, most powerful thing?
Well,
it's like that doesn't have a no.
I mean, I'm similar. I have a ton of corded stuff. Circular saw and a jigsaw, and they're all everything's corded. I have a drill that's corded. I also have a drill that's battery powered. Well, guess what? The battery took a shit. It doesn't charge anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not even going to bother go getting another battery for this thing. Forget it. I have the corded one. I'll just plug it in. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll run an extension cord.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that one's a piece of shit. So it's like, I don't care enough to like go spend $150 on a new DeWalt or Milwaukee or whatever it is.
Just buy the generic ones. I don't think we've talked about that. So I bought 2 knockoff DeWalt fitment batteries, like the.
Are you talking about knockoff batteries or knockoff
so like
tools?
a generic. No.
Oh.
So I own the tool.
Yeah.
But I had a battery that had gone
kaput.
It had gone through all of its cycles.
Yeah.
So it was essentially a dead tool to me. And when you go to Amazon, or fucking heaven forbid you go over to Lowe's or Home Depot to buy a replacement battery, in most cases you might as well buy the brand new tool that comes with one.
It's like printers.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you can get the printer with all the ink for $59.
We're fighting with that with our printer too.
Yeah, or you can buy all the ink and it'll cost you $120.
Yeah, it's like, why am I?
Yeah.
What?
So we smartened up.
It's stupid.
We bought another printer. Actually at Christmas time I got a printer because I asked for it, and it was the Epson that has the big bottles that you just refill it yourself. So it has actual tanks on the front, and you just and fill it. You see it fill up.
Is it Epson certified squiz?
No, yeah, it's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Epson. It's actually an Epson bottle that comes with the printer, and you can see the tank reservoirs right on the front. You flip up this thing, and it's got a little refiller on the printer, and you just squeeze the bottle into the thing.
So is the bottle of squiz expensive or no?
No, it's way cheaper.
It's cheaper than the cassette.
Yeah, and you're buying it in bulk. So that thing, it'll print like 1,500 sheets of paper or some ridiculous fucking number of paper.
Yeah.
Where our old printer, I swear to God, we would go buy printer ink at $25 a cartridge, and it had 6 goddamn cartridges. So we would buy all the cartridges, and then we would head clean a couple times because it would be clogged invariably, and then we would waste half the ink cleaning the heads, and then you'd get like 6 sheets and one of them would be empty again. You're like, God damn, really? We just bought these, you know?
Well, and then too, right? They started doing that same bullshit that they did with the Keurig coffee makers.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Where they started putting chips in the cassettes.
Yeah.
So that way you couldn't use the generic knockoff ones.
Brand ones, yeah.
And it's like, this isn't a certified HP. And we have especially when the kids were at home learning.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff that they were having to print out. And we have a color laser, which are much more affordable than when I was working at a computer store. But still at $30 to $40 for a cyan, magenta, yellow, and black.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I'm
here's what we got right here.
Eco tank.
Yeah, the Epson Eco Tank. So it's like literally.
Look, it's got Shaquille O'Neal.
Refill. Look at the size of those bottles you buy, and they're like, $20 or whatever for one of those big bottles. And then the tanks on the printer are huge, so you just barely see that thing ever move.
Yeah.
And then you just got the bottle and you fill it back up.
Yeah, but it's it's like, why as a consumer.
Yeah.
For the tools that need batteries or the printers that think, it's like, why should it actually be economically feasible for me to actually be considering
buying a whole new
whole new unit?
Yes.
Instead of replacing the consumable
Yeah.
that it leverages.
Yeah.
Like that seems so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
And so now it's like one of those things where we're stretching out the toners that's in the current printer.
Yeah.
Because it's like I may actually be in a position where it's like I may just buy a new by the time depending on what the academic year is for the kids and where they're at for learning.
Well, that's just the thing.
I may just buy a new one.
We don't print that much. Like my wife and I, when we were the only ones at home, we didn't print that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now that the kids are home and they got school projects or whatever stuff's going on and they might need to print stuff.
Right.
And then the printer is fucking out of ink or whatever. That's just a problem because now I got to run and go get printer ink and it's expensive. And so finally we bought this thing and it's been great so far. So I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I know this works very well. But I would love to have a color laser printer, to be honest. Those they do a nice, especially the newer ones are.
Yeah.
The DPI on them's really good.
I'm not printing like the pictures as much as I used to, but
yeah,
it was like once I had one, it was like I have no interest in an inkjet anymore.
Yeah, well, I remember I had one of my old jobs. We got like a Xerox, really nice Xerox laser printer, and we ended up using that thing to print like data sheets and stuff for trade shows. I would just it had like memory in it. You could just send the job to the unit and it would save it. Then you could just recall it and say print 200 of these.
That's nice.
And you could print pretty kind of thick cardstock on it that we would use for the shows, and we would print them. The only thing it wouldn't do is print to the edge, but it would print down and you could get the crop lines in it, and then we would just take it over to like Kinko's or something and they would just trim it for us.
Oh, nice.
And it was cheap. But we ended up printing all of our we had like all the data sheets and stuff that we gave out at trade shows. We used to have a printer actually print all that stuff, and it got to the point to where it was like, we can print all this in-house on this laser writer, and it looks exactly the same. They looked identical. You couldn't tell them apart. Other than the fact that we're trimming it down just slightly, that was the only difference. So, I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Those laser printers, they do a good job.
Maybe for Father's Day, your kids will get you a new battery for your drill.
Yeah, but that drill's so old. Like the technology in the new tools is so much better. Like I wouldn't even want a battery for that.
You need to let go of your tool. Hey, baby.
Do I though?
So why do you hold the tool?
But I'm not done.
You can let the tool go.
I'm not done yet.
Your tool's
Are you
never
trying
going
to take my tool away?
I'm trying to say if it's not working, you got to clean it out.
No, it's still literally on my bench, and I have it plugged in, and it gets charged when I turn on my bench thing, but it literally turns at like, you know what I mean? It just barely moves. I'm like, and then I don't throw it away because it's like,
you got to buy it dinner.
Huh?
Give it some flowers, and then it'll run at performance levels.
It doesn't put out unless I put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, drill. How you doing? You like them ribeyes? Yeah, you do. I got you some roses, baby.
I got you some bits.
And I need you to put out a full 18 volts today.
Well, it's an old, cheapish drill, and it might even be an 8-volt battery. Who the hell knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like not worth buying a battery for. Forget it.
I say ways back. I'm going to shift gears on here because we're at the tail end, so I'm going to end it on a funny.
Okay.
So ways back, I think I'd asked you, like, do you remember when your kids figured out the parents and the sexings? You said data was picked up on it early.
Yeah.
I'll let you off the hook with your heavy sigh because I'll tell you what happened.
Oh, no.
So we've had sex talks in the house.
Now I have worries.
Right, and health education stuff with Piper, right? So you get past that. And there's a number of movies that we've, specifically Deadpool, where it's like you can watch Deadpool, but you're going to watch it with us, and then we're going to talk about it.
We're going to make this an educational experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we were watching it, it's going back a couple weeks, and it got to the scene, spoilers, where...
If you haven't seen Deadpool by now.
Yeah, Jesus. Go see it. Just see it.
Yeah.
Where they're doing like the sex montage.
Uh-huh.
And I happen to walk down the hall while it's going on, and she is now having a hard time watching the sex montage while Dad's in the room.
Right.
I'm like, oh shit, is this the pegging scene? Is this where he's getting?
Oh God.
And she's like, no, can't do it. Can't.
Yeah.
So this was last week.
It's never not awkward.
It's never not awkward.
No, I mean my youngest is 19.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, beginning of last week, I can't remember what brought it up, but it was of late, so kids are out of school. Piper's been having a number of late night, like FaceTime calls with her boyfriend. And that if Piper is up, that puts a damper on Venus and I's external or extracurricular activities because Piper's up.
Yeah.
And
damn it, go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. So Venus made some sort of comment in passing to Piper that she really needs to go to bed early. Mm-hmm. And Piper was like, Why? and Venus goes, 'cause you're fucking up my fun.
Oh,
and
my
Piper
gosh. What fun?
What are you talking about? And, Venus is like, read between the fucking lines.
Oh, my God.
If you're not in, and then I can't bang, and that Piper's just like, la, 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 can't do it, no. So even though we've had these conversations, it has now come full circle to where, as a young adult, she fully understands that there's bang bang. There's stuff and things happen between mom and dad. And it's still way too far above Xander.
Yeah.
But Piper now gets it.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, yeah.
I'm going to bed.
Because tonight,
I don't want to know.
I think the next night after Venus had basically said,
go to bed.
You're fucking up my shit.
Yeah.
Piper had said that she had to pee or something, but she didn't want to get up out of bed because she didn't know if stuff was going on.
She didn't want to hear nothing.
She didn't want to know, and it was, and nothing was, and that was hilarious. She's like, now if I feel like I got to get up and get a drink of water, she's like, I don't.
Well, I mean,
I might fuck up the thing.
I think it's fine unless she finds the dungeon. You know what I mean? I think it's all fair until the dungeon gets found
out. At some point, she's going to realize, and if she gets to this episode, I'm sorry, but the rhinoceros is code for bang bang Piper.
Oh, that's funny.
Did you hear the rhinoceros last night? Yeah, that's when you were a little girl, and that was us trying to figure out whether or not you knew that bang bang happened.
You ever heard two turtles mating?
Yeah.
That's what you heard.
Does it sound? Yeah, that was it. No, that's a wrong story.
That's a different dungeon.
That's a different mating. Not us. Anyway, we are at time.
All right.
That was it.
Well, you got me out with a smile.
I can't
on my
wait
face.
till my son gets old enough and I can haze him with the same conversations.
I'm sure he's looking forward to it. He doesn't even know it.
Yeah, I'm gonna broadside his ass so hard with it. Like, hey, buddy. You taking them long showers, son? I like to take long showers too, but with your mom.
Oh
God!
No,
run away! Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
Do it.
Yeah, I didn't want to hear that from my parents for sure. You know what I mean?
Hey, we're going to have these difficult conversations now.
Yeah. Well, you're old enough and you're living at home.
Yeah.
You're going to know that there's hanky-panky sometimes.
Stuff's going on.
Yeah.
Stuff and things.
That's right.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And things.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right. Well, on that note,
we will see you next week. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Wear a mask.
Wash your hands.
Put
return the cart
back.
Do the nice
Yeah.
Just be kind.
That's right.
There you go. Catch you next week.
See you later.